What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Thomas Thomas. Welcome to my channel. This is the Lukewarm Mess. On this episode, we're going to get into the FBI's 10 most wanted white rappers. Explain. I've never seen it, so...
At number 10, when thinking of the deadliest white gangbangers of all time, one of the first names that pops to my mind is the evil white Crip Goldie. Goldie's story is one of the wildest to ever come out of Compton. A white man from the Park Village Crips, Goldie wasn't just a hangaround or a name on the streets. He earned his reputation the hard way. He built a reputation as a driller that was always trying to prove something, so whenever it was time to go on a mission, he was always the first to raise his hand. From rolling with one of the most respected Crip sets in Compton to catching 2 bodies in a violent ambush, Goldie's name is still remembered in LA gang history. This is the story of David James Livingston, better known as Goldie. For Goldie, who grew up in poverty with 2 parents with severe addiction issues, this caused him from a young age to be introduced to the harsh realities of the streets. Since his mom and dad were always strung out, this left Goldie alone in the world, forced to fend for himself and navigate life on his own. Since his parents spent all their money on illegal substances, all they could afford after they got there, fix was cheap housing in the hood. Because he was the only white guy on his block, he stood out like a sore thumb and was viciously bullied. Goldie always showed a lot of heart. He wasn't going to let just any buster mark him out. And even if he knew he was going to lose the fight, he would still scrap it out, even if it was a 5-on-1. And he had absolutely no chance. He was still always down to throw hands. Because he wasn't a punk and always showed a lot of heart, eventually he got the respect of the other guys on the block and started making friends. As his friendships grew, one thing led to another, and eventually he got officially sanctioned and jumped into the Park Village Crips. Since he feels the constant need to prove himself, as soon as he gets jumped into the gang, he starts going on missions and doing everything he possibly can to get his rank up. Goldie was different from the start. He stood out in a world where white members in black gangs were rare. He wasn't just feared, he was also respected. People in Compton knew him as certified. He wasn't someone pretending to be something he wasn't. He grew up around the lifestyle, and by the time he was running with the Park Village Crips, his reputation was already solid. The Park Village Crips, based out of Compton, have long been at war with surrounding blood sets and rival hoods. Goldie represented his set heavily and was seen as a stepper, a soldier willing to put in work. Even rival gangs admitted he was active. But everything would change in January 1999, during an ambush that made headlines across California. On the night of January 4th, 1999, Goldie and other Park Village members rolled up on the new Wilmington Arms housing complex in Compton. Goldie was drunk, and after getting into an argument with security guards at the complex, he blacked out and whipped out his blicky and started dumping, tragically killing both men who were just trying to do their job. There's a theory surfacing online that the target wasn't random. This was a security team working at the complex, seen by many gang members as siding with rivals or interfering in street politics. But the most likely scenario is that these guys were completely innocent and had nothing to do with the streets and just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. This single event would end Goldie's freedom. Police quickly tied Goldie to the shooting. Witnesses pointed him out and prosecutors painted him as the shooter. He was charged with 2 counts of murder, 3 counts of attempted murder, and is currently still sitting and rotting away inside a California prison.
I chose hymns because I reached a point where I needed help beyond just diet and exercise.
Rest in peace, but free Goldie.
At number 9, the newest white boy to get officially sanctioned and jumped into an all-black street gang is a deadly ginger goon from St. Louis that goes by the rapper name Dallas Fro. This is a
Never
prime
heard
example
of
of why you
him.
can never judge a book by its cover. While he might look like the gangster version of Buzz Lightyear,
I've heard
the
of
truth is, Bro is
CTS
a known stepper
Lewick.
that has been putting in work for his squad. And according to rumors in the streets, he is believed to be responsible for a body that dropped 7
I'm
months
gonna have to
ago
look him
I don't know
up.
what's
Hold up.
inside a California prison. At
Sorry.
number 9, the newest white boy to get officially sanctioned and jumped into an all-black street gang is a deadly ginger goon from St. Louis that goes by the rapper name Dallas Fro.
Dallas Fro. I'm gonna have to
You can
remember
never
him.
judge a book by its cover. While he might look like the gangster version of Buzz Lightyear, The truth is, bro is a known stepper that has been putting in work for his squad.
What's the difference
And
between a
according to rumors in
stepper
the streets, he is believed to be responsible for
crash
a body
out?
that dropped 7 months ago. I don't know what's going on with St. Louis right now, but they hands down have the most gangster white boys
Because some
in the
people
country.
think
For whatever
they're
reason,
one and
in
they're
St.
actually
Louis,
the other, and vice
they
versa.
have been allowing white boys to get officially sanctioned and jumped into all black street gangs. They are a lot more open-minded than other cities when it comes to our Caucasian brothers and sisters. When it comes to Dallas, his
Let me
upbringing was
speak
no
on that
different
for a second.
than anyone else growing up.
Growing up in the Midwest, okay. In the Midwest, we accept people for who they are. If you got heart, you got respect. If you're down, it is what it is. Other than that, like, y'all gotta understand, the Midwest is different than the South. Like, we've been blended together for many years. We went to school together. You know what I'm saying? Like, we were a different breed, at least my generation. I can't speak on any other generation, but in my era, in my generation, we blended. You know what I mean? We got down. It's hard to explain, but
Up in the hood in Section 8 housing, he really went through the struggle and grew up with a father who had a bad drinking problem and was always in and out of jail. Since a kid, he has always been in and out of jail, and when he was young, he learned the streets are not loyal after his best friend snitched on him.
You know, getting in trouble as a kid. The first time I got locked up, I was 12. I just turned 13. Just turned 13. My homeboy, his mama, you know, a lot of people, they was around, you know what I'm saying? They was getting down, so like, we went in dude's crib and man, we took all jewelry, little, you know, all type of little. Man, my best friend straight told on me, bro. He went and got caught in. They came and popped up in my crib, took me in jail.
Recently joined a well-known gang in St. Louis, and he began bringing Dallas along to parties and functions. Through those outings, Dallas started building his own
looks like we're
connections
having
with the
some
members,
technical
and before
difficulties
long, he
with
fit
my
right in with
internet
the
for
group.
some reason. It's been
The
raining
gang
off
thought
and on
Dallas
all
was
day,
raw
so
for a white boy, and some do.
my
The members
apologies.
started inviting him individually to come hang out without Dre, and his connections within the gang started to grow. He was popping bars, sipping lean and blowing tree with the other members on almost a daily basis. Dallas had his own personal connect for bars, and he was bringing around some of the strongest hulks you could get in the area. During this time, it was almost as if he was going through an unofficial prospecting phase to see if he can make the cut. Some of the guys really liked him, but others were worried that if they let a white boy with pale skin and red hair into their gang, that it was going to make them look goofy and soft. Not everyone was sold on him, and they wanted him to go out there in the field and earn his stripes, so they allegedly sent him out on a mission. I'm not going to tell you guys the specific details, but after it was completed, they were all extremely impressed, so they invited all the prettiest girls they know and threw him a crazy party and officially sanctioned him into their gang. Since then, his name has been ringing in the streets, and he has built up a reputation as being a stepper who is always down to crash out for his gang. At number 8, when thinking of white boys that got officially sanctioned into the Crips, you can't make a list without mentioning Chief True.
Thanks to Restore, Primetime is back. This is my time. I didn't want to be
What's the
bold
difference
any
between
longer.
a certified
Daydreaming
stepper
about having more hair.
that
This is
crashes
it.
out
The Carrot Top
Then
Demon
a
of
crash
Nashville had
out.
built up a reputation as a crash out that was always under the influence of mind-altering
crash
substances.
test dummy?
And as
You
you
know what
guys
I'm
will
saying?
see, this ended up being his downfall.
I think this is a
in
young
case you
cat
haven't
that
heard,
ended
the
up
streets
getting
of
locked
Nashville
up.
have been super turned up, and it's been like a war zone in certain areas that are overrun with gang violence.
Now in custody, connected with a shooting that killed one man and left 10 others injured near TSU's homecoming.
Unfortunately for those living in Nashville, certain areas had turned into Memphis, and this was the environment Chief True was growing up in. Friends and family say that from a young age, Chief True was obsessed with Chicago drill. And even though his family was lower middle class and he had some options growing up, all he ever wanted was to join a street gang. Because he was a white boy in the deadly streets of Nashville, he stood out like a sore thumb, and because of how active certain areas are, the last thing you want is to stand out.
It was a violent weekend in Nashville after gunfire rang out outside of TSU's homecoming events off campus on Saturday. 10 people were shot, including children. One adult did not survive.
I just thought about
According
my
to
live
Metro
stream bar
Police,
ain't
5
even up.
individuals, including the deceased victim, all have local gang affiliations.
Nowadays in Nashville, everyone is gangbanging, and this presented the perfect opportunity for this scrawny little carrot top to join a gang and achieve his lifelong goal. For a while, life was great for this young man.
If I remember,
He was
this is a
living out
young
his
man
wildest
that
fantasies
got
and
arrested.
everything he
He's
used to
locked
dream
up
of
right
back
now,
in the day
and
when he was a kid watching King
they're trying
Von
to say
all day
he's
in his
using a
bedroom.
hard R.
And now that lifestyle he looked up to had become his reality. He was riding around with blickies and was in an official and respected Crip Street gang, and he was on top of the world. But on August 21st in 2021, everything would come crashing down for the Carrot Top Demon of Nashville. Officers get a call for shots fired and head over to Chief True's apartment complex. And when they get there, Chief True confronts them by aiming a loaded strap at them. This situation could have really gone deadly, and he is lucky to still be alive. According to news report outlets, after screaming a bunch of crazy threats towards police, he eventually surrendered and allowed them to take him into custody. Shout out to the officers for showing restraint. This officer could have easily caught a body, and nobody would have blinked an eye if you aim a strap at a cop. They then have the green light to start dumping. But this cop showed a lot of restraint. But once inside the cop car, while speaking in a very slurred voice, the Carrot Top Demon starts crying and embarrasses himself as he comes to terms with the fact that he might have just ruined his life. This was a serious felony that he had just committed, and by crying in the car and looking like a punk, this severely impacted his street reputation.
You ain't trying to do that now, bro. Oh, come on. On gang, bro. I got you right here. What it is, you talking all that rah-rah. What it is, bro, I ain't trying to hear nothing. I ain't trying to hear nothing. On gang, you talking about 100K, you just made this on. What it is, bro, I'm right here, bro. Here, bro. Let's get with it. Let's get with it. Let's go. I'm finna drop you and leave you here on the 2. Man, let's go. Let's go.
This was a very dangerous situation. Chief True had found himself in, but luckily there was cameras recording the entire confrontation.
The cameras.
Hopefully Bro can start to focus more on trying to stay alive and out of jail and less on trying to be the Carrot Top Demon of Nashville. At number 7, we look at a highly respected gang-banging grandma goon that somehow was officially sanctioned into a deadly street gang. This fossilized grandma stepper has a couple of rumored bodies and loves nothing more than to smoke the memory of the rivals that she slumped.
Talk to me, auntie. How we like them ops rolled up? Oh, the deader, the better. Oh, the deader, the better.
Smoking the dead off.
How exactly this fossilized goon got officially jumped into a black street gang is beyond me. She must have put in a whole lot of work because the other members absolutely adore her. All the other gangster snow bunnies like Alabama Barker and Bad Baby need to take a good hard look in the mirror because this is going to be their future if they don't change their ways.
What you rolling though?
I've seen that
I'm
video.
rolling that dead off pack.
Okay.
I've seen that video. I didn't
Dead
realize she
people.
was
It's
actually
a beautiful
a
day in the
chick
neighborhood.
that be rapping and hanging
It's a
out
beautiful day in the
with gang
neighborhood to
gang.
smoke a dad.
She telling me right now if a op came down the block right now. What you rolling though?
What you rolling?
Well, I'm rolling that dead off pack.
There's nothing scarier than a gangster granny with only a couple years left of life. These goons know the end is near, so they have no fear of the law and will slump you over the slightest levels of disrespect. Make sure you bring your strap and a couple homies with you. Next time you go to visit your grandmother at her retirement community. You never know who might be lurking in the corner and looking at you like food.
What you rolling? What you rolling?
What you rolling though?
What you rolling?
Well, I'm rolling that dead off pack.
At number 6. When thinking of white boys that were actually official members in all black street gangs whose name used to ring bells in the streets, you can't have a list without mentioning a legendary goon from the streets of Chicago who went by the name FBG White Boy. He first started making a name in the Chicago drill scene because he was selling yerks to the respected gangbanger billionaire Black, who has quite the habit and was spending thousands a week during this time on the yerkies. As Bro did his daily drops over time, him and Billy started forming a friendship, and they started using illegal substances together, and they started hanging out on a regular basis. Bro was not your average white boy or some goofy suburban kid going through a phase. This man was really in the streets and he was making a lot of money. He was a high-ranking dealer that was selling bricks of yay and pharmaceuticals to a lot of the deadliest gangs in Chicago. Along with that, he was also selling straps. So during this time, bro was making tens of thousands a week, all while risking decades in prison.
In this legendary space MMO, the heroic...
What y'all think? Are these white boys really as gangsters as they say? Or can these white boys be as gangsters as they say? I might be biased, but I've been around, seen, and done some crazy things myself. So, and my affiliation is pretty solid. If you guys want to see the whole video, make sure you like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. Or you can actually go to the video that was listed and look at it that way. But I'd much rather think you guys are rocking with me instead. So this is Thomas with the Lukewarm Mess.